Hello and welcome to the Daily Debate Live Wednesdays with Taghreed Hussein here on Nile TV International. Tonight we'll be talking Digital Egypt and a vision for the future. In line with the new republic's commitment towards sustainable development goals, Egypt has formulated a comprehensive vision that includes the fundamentals related to transforming Egypt into a digital society where all the technologies in almost all fields of life can be integrated. Digital transformation definitely offers Egypt opportunities to develop several sectors, as for instance the financial services, healthcare, also the field of agriculture and manufacturing, while creating a sense of opportunity for the individuals and above all having an impact on the economic growth. Because digitization can make a significant difference in the economy, the new republic had already spared no effort to support digital transformation by the required IT infrastructure and also the human capital and other enabling environments so that digital transformation can be a platform for sustainable development. We'll be talking about that and reading the main issue with our technology and innovation expert and consultant for tonight. I'm very honored and delighted to have with us Dr. Nezar Sami. Dr. Nezar, thank you so much for coming.
Thank you and good evening, Doctor.
Good evening to you. Good evening to you, dear viewers. And we will be back right after this report to talk about this interesting topic and a main headline.
President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi held a meeting with Prime Minister Mustafa Madbouli and Minister of Communication and Information Technology Amr Talat to follow up on national projects in the ICT sector. During the meeting, the head of state gave several instructions to attract investments, directing establishment of companies digitally through a platform dedicated for this purpose, so as to eliminate all obstacles facing entrepreneurs. The President also called for allowing the opening of e-companies without being bound by having a physical headquarter, with the aim of saving expenses and providing facilitations for those companies. The head of state directed the expansion of the establishment of free investment technological zones, as well as activating the white lists to import electronic components for specialized companies. As for the Communication Ministry's projects to develop the human capital, the President instructed an increase in the number of scholarships granted to high-achieving university graduates who studied ICT majors within Digital Egypt initiative. That is in addition to launching Digital Egypt Juniors, which would offer scholarships to high-achieving school students. For his part, the Minister of Communications and Information Technology presented developments of the establishment of the Knowledge City in the new administrative capital, as well as the Electronics Design Center, which will host companies specialized in the field. He also briefed the head of state on the activities of the first phase of Digital Egypt Creativity Center.
Well, Dr. Nezar, to ease the situation and make it, of course, flexible, we find today that e-companies are present, and this came upon the directives of the President. Not necessarily that we do have physical companies' headquarters, but to facilitate matters, e-companies could be a great way out and also a positive impact on Egypt's digitization process.
Perfectly said, yes. Let's view the process of establishment of the companies right now that is taking place currently in Egypt, and to compare that with the international indicators such as the ease of doing business indicator. And this is one of the most important indicators where investors are looking into that, how we facilitate creating of the companies, establishment, doing all these processes for them in order to give a green signal to those investors to come into any country to invest their funds in startups or even in mega projects. One of those elements is the processes required to establish the companies. And right now, the normal classical process became obsolete right now. We are in a very good and inflection point in the history of establishing businesses in Egypt right now. With this direction from His Excellency President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi and giving the instructions to go into the digital arena, especially in the establishment of the companies, therefore we are stepping head by head with world-class nations, by the way, in this mandate when we talk about moving into the digital era. So you are almost similar to Europe experiences as well as in America. So there's no doubt right now that we have enabled to pave the way to innovators, technology leaders, technology startups to take a very good leaps to move into the proper direction in that mandate.
Yes, since we're talking about the leaps for the future and giving chances to investors to come to the country and providing incentives and trying to facilitate that digitally, would you kindly highlight more concerning the trendy processes that happen all over the world? And partly Egypt has become part and parcel of this move.
Definitely, yes. Right now, the investors are there to invest some money. To invest the money, not to put it in banks or something like that, for the high return in that. So they are running after the ease of doing businesses, the high return out of that. So they are searching all over the globe to seek opportunities with techies or tech-based like startups or establishment companies in that process. So normally you have a platform. Okay, if I'm talking about the best practices in the world, so you have a platform where you can give access to investors to see the investment opportunities and to have a looking glass over the existing potential startups doing businesses, or even investment opportunities and availability of resources. So this may be investment in taking this into for local presence or even for offshoring and doing businesses for cross-borders transactions, something like that. And the most trendy thing is how to go digital, how to solve problems in very unclassical manners. And we, since the COVID, we witnessed that classical businesses are not anymore valid in a way or in a sense. And therefore, one of the other trend things in coming into that, which was called the impact investment. So it's not just I'm sending the money for just a high profit margin, but I'm looking for the real impact into the society. Because if you call back the process, the end purchasing power, it's with the client or the customers. So I need to care about them, I need to leave an impact with them so they will return back and to acquire my service. So impact investment is one of those mega trends right now taking place in the societies, as well as moving into the digital era with all different aspects, even tackling some uncovered industries, such as like part of it like in financial inclusion, fintech, agribusinesses, supply chain, logistics, even aviation services as well. All these type of industries are taking into place to moving back to the market to see how it will be shaped in the coming future with the engagement with the high technology such as artificial intelligence, cloud computing, as well as supported by cybersecurity and all these type of technologies and technology aspects.
Yes, definitely. And from your words, taking from your words concerning fighting COVID-19, that has definitely had an impact on the matter of fact that we found ourselves moving flexibly towards digitization and digitizing everything. And at the same time, we saw that how beneficial was this system helping the country to move forward. We had a great infrastructure that has helped the country during the period of fighting COVID-19. And afterwards, we invested in that for the procedures that has been undertaken to follow suit.
Definitely, yes. We saw by numbers that the bandwidth of the internet capacity was enlarged as well to accommodate all these type of requests. The number of applications in different sectors, for instance, in the education, because schools, universities, high schools as well, even technical and vocational training and vocational education as well, all of these we saw a lot of applications coming into the market with different flavors, with different capabilities, and with different access to different resources. Why? Because we need to be hand in hand getting back to the top knowledge in the world. Also, we saw that the online learning platforms as well started to establish, and we have some of the couple of success stories in Egypt in this area moving forward, not just even in Egypt, but in the region as well. So in that mandate, we witnessed that the investment in the real infrastructure, standing from the fiber optic networks covering all over the like the government buildings, more than 30,000 government buildings connected together in a fiber optic high-speed network, having the Digital Egypt project, which is the complete digitalization of government services right now, and we talked about that at the time, if you remember.
Sure.
Yep. And moving ahead, on the top of this is how we facilitate for better life for the citizens. This is the most important questioning, and that's the most important like pressing point that all of us we should think about. Technology is there to serve humanities, and technologies are interacting together. Therefore, we need to think about in more holistic approach how we can augment these type of technologies together. And thanks to COVID, this is the bright side of COVID, that it gives the potential and the diffusion of the use of technology, and everybody try to technology either for entertainment or education or even for health services and so on. So we need to capitalize on that momentum in order to move forward to the digital transformation process in different sectors with different applications.
Yes, since you've mentioned Digital Egypt, and this is considered to be the future, and also the governmental services linked with Digital Egypt, because as you've said, that the main aim is to facilitate the life of citizens. And this has been a noble aim that the president and the government has been working on for quite a while now, how to transform Egypt digitally. What could be the features of New Egypt and the New Republic digitally? How can we describe the fact that Egypt has been transformed digitally?
Yes. The right signal started with Egypt Vision 2030, which is by 2030, Egypt will have an international competitive economy that is diversified based on innovation and knowledge. This is the most important putting words for the vision. And we talk about innovation and knowledge, therefore the technology is coming into that. And it's worth mentioning, to mention in this mandate, Haya Karima, or decent life. You know that just not only about repairing or refurbishing of houses and all these buildings or all infrastructure things, but the most important part is the technology component within Haya Karima. If you, of course, we can read about that the Ministry of Information and Communication Technology start to expand with the fiber optic connection to villages, which is very untraditional. Why we should put this type of infrastructure with high internet capacity at the very end point in a very small village in Upper Egypt per se. This is because to facilitate all these digital services under the Digital Egypt infrastructure as well. Also, this will create a new era of jobs for people within Haya Karima. For instance, you can see that the village is there with this community of people living in this village. So we will put emphasis and to get about more technical guys to serve for this type of infrastructure, creating a new job that based on technology. And we witnessed that in El Marajda, when His Excellency gave an example about that and how this like a role model for the new village in the digital era coming into place.
Yes, so what is also interesting about that is that they are always feeling a sense of belonging to the country. We are not all in one vibe and that they are left behind, but it is in a matter of harmony.
Exactly.
And all the country is integrating if we're talking about the features of New Egypt.
Yes.
This is the main noble cause.
Absolutely correct, because when you talk about digital inclusion, it means nobody is going to be left behind.
Yeah.
No matter your level of education, no matter the level of income, no matter where do you live or have you access to infrastructure, it should address every single person in the country. And this is the beauty of digital inclusion. Therefore, we can see a role for different entities and different organizations, starting from the NGOs, not-for-government organizations, the educational institutions as well, private sector, and there we can see that there is a complete synergy and harmony under what we call the public-private partnership, where we should, and also His Excellency President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi gave the signal for the private sector to take a very good step forward to deal with the government, and we witnessed His Excellency Dr. Mustafa Madbouli giving some instructions about the Egyptian moves into the new economic reform doing all over the world. So in this context, we see that it is there for nobody is going to be left behind, changing the mindset, changing the culture, starting from even the identity, how we can reach the digital identity for rebuilding the Egyptian citizenship is one of the most important pillars, either from Hayat Karim or building the new republic, as say.
Yes, definitely, because it is one of the components and the main aims of the new republic to work on the human being, to work on the identity, as you've said, and the Egyptian character, which is a very noble cause. Dr. Nezar, talking about many terms that has been actually introduced. We found after a meeting with His Excellency, the President, with the Minister of Communication, they talked about free investment, for instance, but not only free investment zones, but free investment technological zones. And here is the new character of the story. How did you read this story, having a free investment technological zone?
Definitely. Let's give our audience tonight some glimpse about what is the technology zone by itself.
Yeah.
It's a piece of land. There you can find all the key stakeholders in the ecosystem are supporting each other. For instance, you will find the regulator sitting in this place. You will find telecom operators. You will find people in the software industry. You will find people in the network industry. You will find people in the multimedia and graphics as well. So it is a living infrastructure. So, and one of those important technological zones is smart village per se. We all know it's almost right now more than 20 years old right now, and we saw the impact of smart village in attracting the foreign investment into the country. Now let's move to the era of the free zone. Free zone, it means I'm asking and welcoming all the international organizations to come and do businesses in this area, not to be subjected to taxes and then exporting your products backward. So this is the concept of free zone in general. And we have, for instance, with affiliation of the General Authority for GAFI, which is the Foreign for Investment, we have like 7 to 9 free zones in Egypt. And one of the key concepts, how we can do that with the ICT sector, information and communication technology sector. So the bright signals, or the signals His Excellency gave a couple of days ago, starting from the virtual companies, to establish the virtual company with no need to have like premises or something like that, inaugurating or giving the signal for the free digital zones as well, free investment. This means that you can come, put your emphasis as if you are in Europe or wherever you are in any place in the world, and you can export and you can have your free money, your money moving back and forward in this spot and land. And I can read, for instance, the future is coming that I think we should think about that this free zone, it has nothing to do with the physical proximity. So I don't have to be like living in a smart village or in 6th of October or maybe in Aswan or something. No, we can have
to benefit.
To benefit that, but I can have my free zone at my house, for instance. I think this will take place in the coming future because the nature of the new technology is moving from centralization to decentralization. So if the free zone of the technology zone is all about centralization, so the next wave will be decentralization of these free zones. And right now we have very good successful stories, like 6 technological zones in Egypt, covering from Alexandria, Burj Al Arab, we have in Bani Suef, moving, of course, Cairo, moving to Asyut, Aswan, Mansoura. So we have a bunch of good, yes, of course, and doing that with the support of innovation and technological support as well. So we have a good move coming into that, and I'm wishing that it will be harvesting all the outcome of these products in the near future, inshallah.
Inshallah, definitely, since we are working for the better and for the future of this country for tomorrow, all hands on and they are all together. For the media, in our speciality, it has become more of a one media man show. So the reporter goes on with his or her mobile and he's shooting in the place, on the spot. he's editing whatever he has and then sending to the studio. And it might be airing from the same spot where he is standing, his or her report or her feed. So this is the new media that we're talking about, and this is the pace that we are keeping in place in order to catch up with the digitization story of success all over the world and keep pace with what is happening. Again, this one-person media man is now in more than one speciality. We can find the one-person company, for instance. Definitely. And the one-person company is providing incentives today, and the government providing incentives for having the one-person company to be established.
Definitely. Let's address first the area of the one-person job that you mentioned,
media,
for instance,
media and digitization.
For media and digitization.
Yeah.
Technology is a business enabler, and it accelerates the momentum and give you a lot of sense of tools and so on and so forth. Your mobile device right now, it will be integrating different services, different utilities as well, like from spell checker, early detector of words, like image processing. If you can capture a video, this with like video analytics and something like that, it can give you some sort of description. So it is giving an easy access to a lot of massive content right now, where this will benefit into the job. So what is needed in this area? So everybody needs to be equipped with this new technology. So how to be familiar with that and how to be a good user in this area. Moving that from like a standalone person, I need to move into the utilizing all the benefits putting from the government. Not just only in Egypt, but in any place in the world, because right now we are living in one spot, on one pot, as I say. So in order to use or to get any type of facilitation or incentives, you have to be legalized and under the formal umbrella, whatever under any country in the world. So right now, with the investment laws that we have right now in Egypt and the corporate and the business laws right now, we have the different types of companies taking place, like the limited liability companies or the corporates or the open shares companies. And all these type of companies are very good, they're attractive for investors, yet sometimes like an individuals that have a very small amount of money that I can establish my own business, and it is potentially attractive to the customers or to the investors. I need to have some sort of difficulties if I go to the corporation or the limited liability company. Therefore, the single owner company is taking place, and it was inaugurated a couple of years ago, and it gives a lot of facilitation for you and me if we would like to start our own private businesses, and with the direction to expand it to either the limited liability companies or the corporation when I'm talking for investors. So therefore, we have like now the tools. Yeah. So the legal tool right now, which is the policy and the legalization and in the formation of my company, go ahead, register your company under this style of registration, get the use of the virtual company, and then you will be able to get all the facilitation, all the incentives, either money incentives or non-monetary incentives coming in the law, which is 125 for supporting small and medium enterprises. So, and this law give a lot of incentives, by the way, for companies that are tech-based, whatever the industry. For instance, I can do agribusiness, but I'm augmenting technology in agribusiness, like artificial intelligence for planting type of plants, or for disease detectors or something like that, or for like sensors, put some sort of sensors in the ground for humidity and so on and so forth. So regardless whether it is manufacturing or education or agribusiness, as long as you augment this with the high-tech or the emerging technologies, you will be able to receive this type of incentives as long as you are under the formal sector. Yeah. So the law is there. The enablers are there right now with this type of move and signals from His Excellency President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi in the couple of days ago.
Yes, definitely. We're still talking Digital Egypt, and we'll be talking about the fact that Digital Egypt is not only for seniors, it's not only for us, but also for the juniors as well. And this, as a matter of fact, is very important to prepare the new generation to get acquainted with the pace of the future and with digitization. Also, we have today a knowledge city, which is something that we're really proud of. A lot to talk about. Short break, and we'll be back.
هنا صدق حلمي
Welcome back. Still talking digitization, and upon the President's directives, he gave directives to increase the number of scholarships, especially for the students who are considered to be high achievers, and also directed to start launching Digital Egypt Juniors. This is an initiative to train mainly the school students on the field of communication and information technology sciences, and also aiming to offer them later with scholarships if they are also high achievers. So what an incentive, Dr. Nezar.
As I mentioned in the beginning of this interview, we are in the very bright side of a new inflection point in the history of technology in Egypt with the startups and companies. And if we think about the pipeline of leadership, it starts from the teenagers in the schools, moving forward being in the youth era, and we are a young generation, like more than 60% of the Egyptian population is under the age of 45 as well. So it was a very good starting point is to think about the youth as well as the junior coming in this area in different level of schools. And let me call back in the Ministry of Information and Communication Technology, there was a presidential initiative started, which is the Next Technology Leaders, the NTL. It is an initiative where participants starting from the university level, they can be registered to different types of tracks with new tech and then get their certificates from world-class institutions. And surprisingly, we found a lot of inquiries and subscriptions. How about school students? Why you are not there? Please open up these type of initiatives to come in. And actually, the minister took some serious steps in that way, and he put like some sort of registration for school students. Also, conducted some of the competitions about robotics for government schools as well. Therefore, all these type of, I call it like prototypes for testing waters about how the feasible and the visibility of technology for school students, not only in Cairo or whatever, but all over Egypt, even Upper Egypt or in Sinai or whatever place all over the country. Therefore, the initiative for the Digital Egypt Junior, it is a very good promising, where we need to get the talents. This is extremely important, and the gifted people. And I'd like to shed the light about another program also directed by His Excellency the President. This is called the Innovators Support Fund, the ISF. This Innovator Support Fund was announced in one of the youth conferences, and it is mandated under the Ministry of Higher Education, where they spot and try to like headhunt those type of gifted students in any type of talents, be it like in arts, music, science, math, chemistry, languages, linguistics, and all of these type of talents, and then they put them under like a virtual incubation system to endure or to enhance their capabilities and send them to world-class institutions to get more exposure with the latest type of knowledge in their area of expertise. So when we put these two building blocks together, the ISF, which is the Innovators Support Fund, and the Digital Egypt Junior Program. They have to work hand in hand together so we can spot the talents right now. We can see like a 7-year kid in school started to play with his mom or dad mobile phone and started to create some sort of nice movies or with the pictures, or try to enhance his language with the type of games. So we need to put on that, because we are now thinking of rebuilding the digital identity. How about the digital personality, the digital thinking, how we can think digitally? This is the most important part, okay? So we need to start from the early childhood, and then we take it forward, upward, with different type of programs that is supported right now in Egypt.
Yes, talking about the digital personality, and another personality that we are shaping today in the New Republic is a personality also that respects science and respects knowledge. And here comes the fact, the importance of the acceleration rate of having a knowledge city at the new administrative capital. This is a great achievement that we are really proud of today.
Definitely. As I mentioned, with the New Republic, there is a great move into building the Egyptian identity, starting from the visual identity, how we can rebrand Egypt in that, how we can deal the country as a brand. This is the most important part, because we have in each and every spot in Egypt like a unique selling point we can utilize in that. And we have to capitalize on the knowledge acquired starting from the ancient Egypt and moving forward in different culture, different ages, and we have a lot of wealth in this area, and we need to monetize and we need to capitalize in that in a way or a sense. Therefore, when you talk about the knowledge city, it is a city within the new administrative capital. It contains a lot of living items. For instance, university, a high-tech university in that, and it was inaugurated last September. The National Telecommunication Institute, which is responsible for telecommunication on all levels, from the basic infrastructure with technicians till the high top of security and all these type of new emerging technologies. Very good place for incubation system and the innovation centers as well. So it is an harmonized system where all these key enablers are working together hand in hand in order to move forward to the knowledge level. All of these type of activities, by the way, are reflecting into most important part, which is the global indicators, such as Global Competitiveness Index, Global Innovation Index, and Ease of Doing Business indices. All these type of indices are crucially important to attract foreign direct investments as well. Also to rebrand again the Egypt as the hub or the center of the world, of the universe, where we can start to move forward to the world and deliver a lot of knowledge and a lot of literature coming that. And we have, by the way, gurus in Egypt living. Let me mention one of them. Like a couple of days ago, early this month, there is a junior Egyptian doctor has appointed as is the secretary of the World Personality Association, which is a very important position in the world, and it is in the age of 40. So we have a lot of talent right now coming in Egypt, so we need to move this and take it to the next level in the coming future.
Definitely, and also making use of those great gurus that you've mentioned in the country, who are actually the best to market Egypt throughout the whole world. Look how inspiring Salah is, and the example that he is providing to the whole world, the Egyptian king, as they call him. We are very much proud of our Mo Salah, who is a great ambassador for Egypt in Liverpool, and other gurus as well. And since you've mentioned, Dr. Nezar, the matter of fact that we are branding Egypt and marketing our country abroad, definitely this sense of soft power. We are also before a huge event where we are going to invite gurus from all over the world to the inauguration of GEM, the Grand Egyptian Museum. So how can we make use of all that and digitization in branding Egypt, and this encoding with soft power?
Definitely. Egypt is the land of culture, land of civilization, more than 7,000 years old right now, moving into the future. And we witness like a demo for the Mummies Parade, as well as in the inauguration of El Kibash festival.
Yes,
well.
yeah.
Yes, okay. So in the coming till the end of this year, we have more than one world-class event taking place. As you mentioned, the Egyptian Grand Museum, the inauguration of this Grand Museum, the COP27, which is the climate conference, the biggest strategy, politically, technically event taking place. There were all those leaders coming into Sharm el-Sheikh in November. So technology is taking place a lot in the Grand Museum, the opening, even the infrastructure, the utilization, the enhancing the tourist, enhancing the visitor experience. This is the most important part. How we can augment the technology with different types of places or stopping point there where all the visitors will get the beauty and live with the culture and will live with this, the real part of the life 3,000 years ago. They can have this life today right now. And in the Egyptian Civilization Museum as well, some of those type of exercises and type of augmenting technology in that as well. So it is a great invitation. And by the way, we saw in the Egyptian pavilion in Dubai Expo, we saw that it was fully immersed with technology. So we are there. So the technology is taking a lot of activities in the coming period with the world-class events, just to shed the light about we are here, we are the Egyptians, we're going to do something for the benefit of the humanities, not just only Egypt, but in the universe as well.
Yes, we will, God willing. Developing the ICT infrastructure is very important. Without infrastructure and a solid foundation, and definitely developing the infrastructure is going to make all the difference. How are we working on that as well?
Building an infrastructure is not a one-stop shop, it's one thing for life. No, it is a continuously based on the demand. Let's imagine how it will work. For instance, if we are trying to have to rise a building, okay? So we start with do some sort of digging and then laying down some sort of layers from blocks or cement and some with reinforced concrete and something like that. This is for the normal classical building. So imagine that we have our digital building, our digital nation. So we started to have this type of infrastructure. So it is a multi-layer thing. Started with the roads where the objects are moving. This type of roads are the fiber optic networks. So the fiber optic networks right now is starting to move everywhere. As I just mentioned a few minutes ago, it has even reached Haya Karima, very small villages at the very far part of in Egypt. You'll find this type of connectivity over there. On the top of that, we have the layer of infrastructure. And we saw the movie of the integrated complex for smart documentations. And so we have the digital brain of Egypt, which is the very big or mega data center where all the transactions, all these type of like scanned documents coming from the government are stored over there. The database of all the Egyptians, all the transactions coming into from different one application are there. So we have the layer of the servers. And of course, these type of servers are replaced as long as the demand coming in. Also, on top of that, we have the database by itself. And right now, there is a clean, unified database for all the Egyptians. All these things, people, they don't feel because it is under the like the rooms or the server rooms or under the surface. But we see the impact of that with the different type of ease of doing the applications coming into like in your fingertip. You can just request whatever type of service coming in that in this place. So it is an area for building new startups as well. And in a couple of days coming, the Ministry of Information and Communication Technology is witnessing one of the technology conferences about the future of data center, how the data centers, how the technology is emerging, and then how we can invite world-class companies to come to invest in Egypt in this area to support the infrastructure. This is a bright side for technology coming and taking place.
Yeah, we're always delighted to talk with you, Dr. Nezar, about the bright side of the story and the promising fact and features of digitization of Egypt in the future. Dr. Nezar Sami, Innovation and Technology Consultant, thank you so much for coming to Nile TV tonight and to Wednesday Debate Live.
Thank you very much. It was a pleasure.
Thank you. And I thank you, dear viewers. We've been talking Digital Egypt, which is the promising future. I'm Taghreed Hussein, thanking you all for being with us.